Okay, so good evening everyone. My name is Instructor Andres Sebastian Flores Nara. I'm an instructor in Mapua University, and this video will be about the first assignment for the course Learning to Teach Online from Coursera, created by the University of New South Wales in Sydney, Australia. Alright, so let's get started. So this video will be a very quick response to the questions that were outlined during the course, and I think we should start first by outlining those questions and address those one by one. Now, those questions were formatted in paragraphs form, but I decided that to make it easier for the video and for the response, I'll summarize those in one or two sentences. So the first question is this: what is the activity, the specifically online activity that I will be giving my students, and what technology should I use to have the students implement or to submit or to do those activities? Why this technology in particular as opposed to others? Whether this is LMS or open. LMS of course, as we know, is a learning management system. What are the benefits or the risk of either one or the two? And lastly, what are the institutional policies and strategies that we currently have in place in trying to address those technological limitations or freedom that we currently have? So let's answer this one by one. So let's start with the activity. Alright, so as I've said, I am a philosophy instructor, and one of the activities that I always love to give students is a reflection, because a reflection is always a very transformative, it's a very personal activity that they can do, which allows the student to internalize the lesson which we have discussed. And the difference with a classroom reflection and a reflection from an online class is that if this would be an online class, one thing I would like to do is to do that reflection instead of the traditional paper and pencil into a video recorded lesson. Actually, activity. I want the student to be able to look at the webcam so that he will be able to see himself while he gives out or while he expresses himself in the context of the lesson, about what he learned, about how that lesson somehow transforms him or changes his perception, all of those things. And what makes writing different compared to a video format is that the video format has been proven to be more effective in terms of authenticity, because there is this awareness of self that we have as the student looks at the webcam, seeing himself there in the screen as though it's a mirror, gives him form of awareness that you can find simply from writing this down. And this is not something new. This has been proven several times now, that as you can see by the research paper in the slide, that a video formatted reflection is effective in doing its part in achieving its goals of being self-aware, of being internalizing and contextualizing one's responses. Alright, so that is the activity. So basically, it's a matter of the student recording him or herself and then uploading it to be seen by the teacher. Let's move on to the next question. Alright, so I forgot, these are the examples of the video recording sessions that have been throughout the years. Students basically speaking to the camera to be seen by himself and the teacher. Alright, so let's move on to the next two questions. I decided to put these two questions together because I think that's easier to address these at the same time. So why technology, or what technology should I use, and what are the benefits or risks of either one? Well, for this one, the big deal here is privacy. So I would very much implement the LMS or the learning management system as the strategy, the technology for the strategy. The reason being is that the LMS as structure of a data that is very tied to the institution guarantees, well, not necessarily guarantees, but at least reinforces a very important aspect of this activity, and that aspect is privacy. Privacy is the big deal here. Since a reflection is more of a private or a personal activity, then I would understand if a student does not want to expose himself or herself to the general public. In that case, the student is not expected to upload his video in YouTube, in Twitter, Instagram, or whatever other social media sites that he might not be comfortable. He might not be comfortable with. The benefits of an LMS or the benefits of an institutionally tied learning management system is that the student is somehow comfortable in the idea that whatever he uploads remains private or remains almost exclusively to the eyes of the instructor who is going to assess that activity. So for something like this, for something this personal, you can't have the student uploading his reflection which might expose something personal about him or her that might cause him to be cyberbullied by his peers, by strangers. You can't risk him saying something that might offend someone, or he might say something that he might regret later in the future. And as we all know, once it's in the internet, it's there. It's very difficult to put a doorstop on something like that. It can't be swallowed back in. So for this purpose, an LMS is the best means, because activity is a self-reflection. This activity is not a declaration, or this activity is not meant to influence people. This is not a propaganda piece. It's mostly for the student to be able to talk primarily, first and foremost, to himself, and the act of seeing himself in the mirror, the act of seeing himself in the screen as he does this form of video diary is a contributing factor. But with LMS, it removes the risk of divulging personal information to the general public. So for this reason, I would always choose LMS than an open system. Alright, so and the fourth and last question is, what are the current institutional policies that we have in place in our university that can help or that can restrict this activity? So here in Mapua University in the Philippines, we use Blackboard, and Blackboard is a very good interface. So far, the best one I've used. And in terms of usage, in terms of compatibility, in terms of, well, just the plain UI. However, one restriction that I've experienced comes from two things. The first one is that, I don't know, perhaps it's not really Blackboard's fault, but perhaps it's more of a budget fault, that there is a culture that encourages, although not mandates, that any file uploaded, any data, the file size heavy file is better not uploaded within the LMS itself, but rather to some form of a cloud-based website where we can just link to that. This is so not to overrun the servers, but again, there is more of a server problem rather than a UI problem. I don't blame Blackboard for that form of interface. And another one is the fact that there is no video recording program or app that is completely linked to the Blackboard interface. And this might be relevant when you have something that strives for privacy but might be linked to another third-party social media app that can divulge the information. Suppose the student is not completely aware of it. If, God forbid, the student is recording his self-reflection unknowingly in a public what do you call that, a My Day video, then of course it compromises the much sought privacy that this activity is looking for in the student. So there's no recording feature that this interface can exclusively use for this LMS that we can very much take advantage of. But again, that's an IT problem. There is no harm done. Blackboard has done a lot more than it's it has actually done a lot more than what I've seen before. So that's the rationale for those activities. Alright, so again, 4 quick questions answered briefly. Self-reflection as a part of a philosophy activity. Self-reflection is uploaded into, Blackboard LMS primarily in order to prevent leakages from third-party apps or the general social media public to avoid negative repercussions. And of course we have the interface with some suggested improvements that we can use. Alright, so that's it for this assignment, and thank you very much.